Every year I usually release a wish list for NBA 2K. This year I decided just to stick with one mode, and that's MyNBA. So this is my wish list for NBA 2K22 for MyNBA. If you don't want to watch the video, you just want to read this whole list that I put together, you can just go to 2krosters.com. I'll put a link in the description. But let me just break down what I put in this article. We're going to start off with the general improvements and additions that I'd like to see in NBA 2K22, MyNBA mode, cross-platform rosters, draft classes, and scenarios. This is a no-brainer here, giving the users the opportunity to play any roster, draft class, or scenario regardless of what system they play on. I release rosters and draft classes pretty much every year, and half of the people who subscribe to my channel can't play it because they play on different systems. So this will eliminate that whole issue. Improve the free agency logic. There should be a lower chance of superstars signing with smaller market teams in free agency. Older players should agree to minimum deals in free agency more than likely, especially if the team was a contender the previous year. Fix in-game injuries. They don't exist. If you play this game right now and you play MyNBA or any mode, injuries in game are super rare. They don't happen often. Overall boost for players throughout season should be toned down, especially for those that barely get minutes. So this right here, for example, if a player gets 2 minutes per game for a whole season, somehow the next season that guy will get like an overall boost. I don't know how the guy's getting an overall boost if he doesn't even get in the game to even get his attributes up. So this needs to be fixed. Improve the logic of trades. The majority of the CPU trades is them just doing the trade just to do a trade. Now this is a fact. If you play MyNBA mode, you'll see a bunch of the trades that the CPU does. It just makes no sense. They'll have Joel Embiid but still trade for Karl Towns. I'm exaggerating right now, but those are the type of trades that you see. They'll have a star player at a position, but they'll still do a trade for that same position. Like, there needs to be some type of balance with the logic of the trades. Add dynamic player tendencies. Dynamic player tendencies should change organically throughout a career. For example, a big like Brook Lopez, he came into the league as a post-up player, but by year 9 in his NBA career, he started to shoot more threes. Those shot attempts went up each year after. So this is just pretty much, we can have this as like a slider in my league or MyNBA now, or you can have it as an actual option in the edit player section in vitals. So this is like for a player that is not going to stay the same. Brook Lopez is someone that came in the NBA as a post-up player, and right now he turned himself into a stretch big. Guys like Mitchell Robinson, I don't see him ever turning to a stretch big. So there should be some type of slider in the edit player section where it allows a player, you can max it out to 100. This player will definitely change his tendencies as the years go by, or he'll stay the same player for his whole career. Like LeBron James, for example, his dunking tendency is pretty much the same throughout his whole career. He's still dunking just like he was since he was like 22. He's what, 36 now, 37. Players like Carmelo Anthony, we should see their dunking tendency decrease as they get older. So this is a dope feature to have. Give coaches a number-based attribute system that includes an overall similar to players. Let a coach with a good overall really make a difference is hired by a team. So I just made a graphic here. I gave Tom Thibodeau an overall 90. As you can see what a good coach can do to a team. Look at the Knicks right now. Shout out to my Knicks. Add offense and defensive tendencies for coaches, and depending on the overall of the coach, these coaching tendencies can impact player tendencies. So someone who plays under Mike D'Antoni should see an increase in their three-point tendencies and a decrease in their mid-range shot tendencies. So as an example I just gave you, if Mike D'Antoni is signed to a team like the Knicks, you will see less mid-range jump shots from a Julius Randle, from a RJ Barrett, but you would see an increase in their three-point tendencies because Mike D'Antoni does not allow his players to shoot mid-range jump shots. So depending on how good the coach is, these tendencies can increase and decrease. Same goes with defensive-minded coaches like Tom Thibodeau. You should boost players' contest shot tendencies and other defensive tendencies. So this is another one. I don't know if this will work and how they will implement it, but this is just an idea I've had, and I think it would be dope if they figured out a way to balance this. Same goes with the previous one. Add female coaching staff options. So Becky Hammond currently right now is an assistant with the Spurs, and I definitely see her as a future head coach one day. So this is just a graphic I put up, a mock-up. So this should be an option in NBA 2K22. Improve the auto-generated draft class attributes and tendencies. Let us get a preview of who we could potentially draft by adding playable workouts like solo shoot-arounds, one-on-ones, and 5-on-5s for draft prospects and unloaded draft classes. This would be dope for stuff to do in the off-season with the draft classes that we load. You can have little one-on-one games with different prospects, shoot-arounds, just to get a good sense of the player that we want to draft before we draft them. Revamp the draft day presentation and give us a more exciting experience, similar to how it was in my career a few games back. Let us see the lottery pick at least walk on stage and shake Adam Silver's hand. So this is a screenshot, I believe, from NBA 2K, is it 15? I don't know, I'm trying to remember, but this is from Chris Moo's YouTube channel. As you can see, you go on stage, you shake the commissioner's hand. It was David Stern at the time. But just give us something small like this. Right now, we just have like a generated screen of players getting drafted. There's no excitement in it. This is from a cutscene from, I believe it was last year's My Career, where you get drafted, where you don't get drafted actually. Improve the retirement logic. Too many young players retire early each offseason. Yes, this is a fact. Every time you simulate a season, guys who are like 25 years old who don't get signed. If a player doesn't get signed in NBA 2K, they retire. I don't know why, but yeah, they retire at like 25, 26. Let players ask for trades. In today's NBA, the players have the power, so let's see that translate into NBA 2K22. This is another thing that would be dope to see. I don't know how they implement it, but just have some random superstar player, if the team is doing terrible, just come out and just demand a trade. Allow us to edit the amount of bird years a player has in his edit contract screen. So this is self-explanatory. Improve the schedule logic based on previous season standings. So for an example, the defending champions should play against their finals opponent on opening day, and the top team should get Christmas games. Give us an option to add an NBA score ticker on the bottom of the screen when playing the game. This could give us a live look at scores from other games in our season. So inside our game, we should have the option to toggle in a score ticker on the bottom. It'll just keep us updated with what's going on in our MyNBA season. Add a weekly show in MyNBA that showcases the best plays, similar to NFL's 2K5's Chris Berman's weekly recap. I don't know how old you guys are, but NFL 2K5 was a $20 game, and it's considered the best football game ever. In my opinion, it's the best football game ever. Now, inside NFL 2K5, it had the ESPN license, and with that ESPN license, they had weekly Sports Center highlights with Chris Berman inside the game. So this is exactly how it would look. It had the Sports Center music. He will pop up and he'll give you live weekly updates from other games that happen in your season. And this isn't just screenshots. He will give you actual clips, and he will give you an actual analyst of the actual clip. Now, I don't know why we don't have this in NBA 2K. I've been asking for something like this for the longest, but this would be dope to have. Bring back the preseason. I don't know why it's not in the game, but yeah, this is self-explanatory. Add carryover saves. MLB The Show has had this feature for the longest. I'm going to continue to ask for it. Let us continue our MyNBA seasons from game to game. Carryover draft classes. This follows into the saves situation. If you're going to keep the creative player the same, it's been the same since 2K19. At least let us import our draft classes from the previous games. Tedious creating the same draft classes over and over with the same creative player system. Let us do 14 trades and give us more draft pick protection options and trade injured players. Let us scroll from team to team while in mass edit mode when editing a roster. This was in the game previously, but I don't know why they removed it. This was in the game at least 2 games ago, and it allowed us to scroll from every team, just mass edit, change things. But now we only stuck to one team at a time. This is a new feature. Add 2K shared moments. This allows players to create a moment in an NBA game and upload it for another player to play. In 2K shared moments, users get to choose the quarter, time remaining, scores, teams, possession of ball, difficulty, and lineups. When a user downloads a moment, it launches them right into the game at that specific moment. Now, this would be another dope thing for all the MyNBA creators on YouTube, King of the Fourth Quarter, Click, Dom, everyone that plays MyNBA on YouTube. This will allow them to change the game in terms of content creation. This is a mock-up I came with the menu inside the MyNBA 2K Share Moments. Now this would be a game changer. Another one right here, MyNBA Go, a dedicated NBA 2K website that allows players to have access to the MyNBA on the go. Whether you're a roster or draft class creator and you want to make a quick edit but you're not by your system, or you're a MyNBA online admin and you need to approve a trade, users will log into the site with their gamer tag, online ID, and have quick access to specific things such as ratings, tendencies, admin settings, and more. Now this would be fire if they created a website where players get to manage their MyNBA on their phone, on their laptop, wherever, whenever they're away from their system. I don't know if they're ever going to create something like this, but I'm putting it out there. Now let's jump into league customization. Allow us to rename the whole league, conferences, and divisions. These edits will reflect throughout the whole MyNBA experience. So for this mock-up, I changed the NBA into 2K Rosters Association. Insert conference name. Right here, we would change the conference name that we want. Division name we will be able to change as well. This will be something dope. It's called MyNBA, so let us actually be MyNBA. Let us remove conferences, divisions, and add more teams to a single MyNBA season. Right now, we're currently only able to add 36 teams total in a MyNBA season. We should at least have more than that, especially on next-gen consoles. We should be able to remove conferences, divisions, add a new custom league rule that gives us the option to play 2 halves instead of 4 quarters. This is self-explanatory. I created a mock-up. Games will be played in 2 halves if we have this selected. If anyone wants to create a college-like experience in the MyNBA, we should have the option to choose 2 halves and the amount of minutes we want in each half. Add a single season G League MyNBA option where players get to play a full G League season with no NBA teams attached in an actual playable playoffs. Custom rosters, team rebranding, and all the core customizations from MyNBA should still be accessible. I created a mock-up here, so we toggle G League right here with playable games, and we toggle no NBA teams. We'll launch in and we'll just have a full G League single season experience with the playoffs. Right now the G League is attached to a MyNBA season and there is no playoffs, and you can't rebrand or do anything customizable with that option. So this would be a dope addition to expand on the G League, especially with the G League Ignite making a big impact on this season with 2 players projected to be in the top 5 in Jalen Green and Jonathan Kuminga. Let us load a custom roster, apply team rebrands, and add more teams to a MyNBA playoff. Don't know why they don't allow us to rebrand teams or use a custom roster in the MyNBA playoff, but this would be a dope feature to have. Give us the option to create a jersey and court for the NBA All-Star Weekend. Every year, there's a new jersey and court for NBA All-Star, so we should have the option to do the same in our MyNBA season. Let us select a retro filter from each decade for our MyNBA experience. If a user wants his whole MyNBA season to be in the black and white filter from the 60s, it should be an option. So I created a mock-up menu here. We scroll over to retro filters and we scroll over to each decade. So for this instance, I put 1960s. And if we have that for a single MyNBA season, every game in that MyNBA with the 1960 filter will be just like this in black and white. So this is dope. We can have different decades, 70s, 80s, and it will reflect with the filter. Now to add on to that, give us more than one scoreboard to choose from in a MyNBA. Similar to the retro filters, give us scoreboards based off their era. Now they don't have to be NBA TNT. I know those have license and stuff, but inside the game already, there's multiple scoreboards that are not being used. If you play My Career, you'll notice that there's a new scoreboard for the high school portion of the My Career and the college. Give us options to choose from different scoreboards just to switch things up. Now let's jump into team rebranding. If you were to rebrand a team right now, you'll notice that in the background when you're selecting the team, it'll still show old stuff from the previous team. Right here on the right is a rebranded Laker team, and on the left is a rebranded Warriors team, but you still see images from the previous team. This needs to be fixed to show just the logo from the new rebranded team, or just remove the general. The same thing goes with the scoreboard colors. If I rebranded the Laker team, the scoreboard color will still show purple instead of the rebranded team color. This has been an issue for the past couple of games. The team shirts of rebranded teams in playoffs and finals as well. This right here is rebranded team of the Heat, but when you win the finals, it still shows the Heat logo instead of the rebranded team's logo. Give us more than 10 image uploads in the jersey creator. We're on next gen system now. It should be at least 20 at this point. Let us choose from different jersey textures in the jersey creator. Some examples are the 2005 shiny jerseys that the Miami Heat wore. Now this is a mod by PC Man Not. You can see how the jersey textures are shiny. These are the same jerseys they wore when they won the NBA Finals. And then another example is the mesh holes from the 1998 Lakers jersey. We should have different options, different jersey textures in the jersey creator. Fix the glitch colors on the jersey numbers and names. Yeah, this has been an ongoing issue for the longest, since the whole thing is introduced, the jersey creator. If I was to change the color of this D-Wade jersey in the jersey creator, the red would look pink. So if I was to take the color of this red up here in the collar and put it on the jersey number, it will not look the same. I don't know why. This has been an ongoing issue for the longest, but that needs to be fixed. Having an option that horizontally centers numbers and uploaded images on the jersey creator. This will be something dope to have. Right now, when we add a number to the front of the jersey or an image onto the jersey, we just have to hope and pray that it's centered on the jersey. There's no option to actually automatically center it. Let us move custom images on the neck and shoulder and the collar in the jersey creator. Right now, if we were to drag a logo all the way to the neck, it will just disappear. It won't let us put it on the neck itself and create like a neck pattern. We can't do that. Fix the accessory color slots on the rebranded teams. If you rebrand a team, they allow you to choose primary, secondary, and alternate colors, but they never work. Right now, it only shows red, but you notice I selected red on all of them. Down here at the socks, it's just glitched out and it doesn't reflect. As you can see right here, it's still white. The socks, it just disappeared. So this has been an ongoing issue for the past couple of games. Improve the jersey texture quality for rebranded teams. Custom jerseys and all the images lose detail, become compressed and pixelated, similar to what we had on the previous generation. So as you can notice, if you were to upload a high quality image into NBA 2K, drag it onto a jersey, save the jersey, go inside a game, this is how the image would look. It looks all beat up. Look at the Nike jersey, look just how pixelated it looks. Even the jersey textures are super low quality. Everything is super low quality. On the PS5 and Xbox Series X, it shouldn't be like this. We're playing in 4K, but these jerseys are like 720p quality. This is what an actual jersey in the game looks like. As you can see, this is nice and clear. It looks like it's stitched on. It's not pixelated. Give us an option to save our custom jerseys as an alternate instead of replacing the default team jerseys. Give us an option to edit the names of the jerseys we get to create in the jersey creator. So instead of having home, away, and alternate, we should be able to change the names of these jerseys. So when you go into your jersey selector, it'll show it up here. So I named it Grid and Grind and it showed up here when selecting the jersey. Bring the t-shirt creator that's locked away in my career into MyNBA and let us create custom shirts for the home team crowd. This will be a dope addition to have. Right now, the t-shirt creator is locked away at some type of tier in my career. I believe you have to play like thousands of hours to unlock it. Bring back the Arena Music Manager for NBA 2K13 and give us the freedom to customize the sounds of the arenas. Let users import sounds to a USB and load the sounds inside the arena. So this was a feature in NBA 2K13 that allow you to drag music onto a USB, plug the USB into your system, and then load it to different sections of the Arena Music Manager, whether it be the intro of the stadium, playoffs, jump ball, defensive chants, offensive chants, all different type of things. This would be a game changer. They should definitely bring this back. Fix the washed out colors on both the jerseys and courts. I'm not sure why this is still an issue, but I don't know if it's because of bad lighting or whatnot, but this is how a jersey looks in the jersey creator. Notice how the orange pops out like actual orange. This is how the floor looks. But then when you go in a game, it's washed out. Look at the orange is washed out. Everything is just washed out in the game. I don't know what the issue is, but this needs to be fixed. Allow us to freely put logos anywhere on the court. Now, this was a feature I've been asking for the longest. Courts like this, we can't create because we're only limited to certain spots, like this center court up here. We could put something here, but we can't add stars anywhere. We can't put a logo on the baseline. This is something that we should have the option to do now with stronger hardware, or just give us an option to create a single court texture in either Photoshop or any photo editing program and uploading it onto NBA2K.com to make things simple. Add more wood floor patterns in the court creator. Give us the choice of different floor lines for our created courts. So for example, if we wanted our created court to have high school lines, or if we wanted them to have college lines with the college 3-point line, or if we just wanted it to have the NBA line, we should have that option. Let us add logos to the basket stanchions. Give you an example here. I did a mock-up of how it would look. You have one on the side as well. Let us create and upload alternate courts. So this would just allow us to upload a court by itself without having to be attached to a jersey. Give us new custom arenas to work with from Rebranding. We've been stuck with the same 13 generic arenas since NBA 2K16. Let us create courts inside the multiple new next-gen gyms, arenas, and outdoor environments displayed in my career, the city, my team, the W, and the G League. This is self-explanatory. I've been asking for this for the longest. I'm tired of using the same 13 generic arenas in MyNBA. We have all these arenas to work with: high school, college, the G League now in here. You got these My Team customs. This now from the W. Just look at all these dope arenas in the game that they lock away from MyNBA. We should have the option to work inside these different environments. Now this next one is inspired by MLB The Show. They just showed off their new feature for their stadium creator. So I'm calling this the 2K Arena Creator. It gets a next gen revamp that lets us fully scale and edit a basketball arena or indoor gym. Inside the 2K Arena Creator, we should be able to customize multiple things. The bleachers, let us move and decide the size of the bleachers. This would dictate the amount of fans in the crowd we want. So for example, we'll be able to stretch the amount of seats that we want in the arenas. This would dictate how many fans will be in the arena. Baskets, give us multiple basket choices, including a hanging basket from Pro-Am. We should have the option to have a hanging basket in our custom arena. Sideline, let us edit the amount of seats on the sideline and score table size. So let us choose how many seats we want on the sideline. Let us choose the size of the scoreboard we want. Walls, this will work similar to how it does in Pro-Am by letting us customize the wall colors of the indoor gyms. So currently, if you were to create a Pro-Am team, they allow you to customize the walls with different patterns and stuff. We should have that option, even the option to add images up there and whatnot. Miscellaneous, the option to move and edit and add interactive screens. As you can see right here on this Pro-Am screen, this screen right here, we should be able to add images in there. So it could look like this on the wall. That's a mock-up I did. You should have the option to move and hang banners, retired jerseys, and even sponsored images throughout the stadium. Now this brings us to create a player. Now I've been asking for this feature for the longest, so as everyone else who creates players in this game, let us upload face photos and put them on our created players, similar to how WWE 2K has for their game. So we will upload an image of someone's face, and then from there we'll be able to throw it on our created player just like this. Created a mock-up. Another addition to the created player, add more sculpting sliders, head presets, forehead, width, depth, jaw, brow, angles, eye depth, mouth depth, position, and angle. Allow us to make heads bigger with the skull sliders. So right now we're just still limited to the same sculpting sliders since NBA 2K19. Just give us more options to variate the head shapes and stuff. Revamp the whole creator player interface, simplify it, and make it less menus to scroll through, similar to the My Player Builder. We should get a live look at the overall of the player as we edit the attributes too. So I created a mock-up here. Now this section part right here is from the My Player Builder. I just added a custom overall here. Right now, if we were to create a player, we would have to scroll through multiple screens for different sections of the creator player system attributes. And we don't even know what the overall is until we save the player and go back and look. We should have a live look of the overall of the player we're editing. Give us more hair and beard options. This is just something that we definitely need. Finally, we got some new hair options this year. We definitely need more. Add the color palette for skin tones and hair color. Now, this is definitely needed. The skin tones are definitely limited to at least 6 skin tones. We definitely need more options. So just add the skin color palette here. And actually give us this color palette also for hair as well. Add the ability to upload custom player portraits. So this would be a dope feature. Every player has the option to upload player portrait. For an example, I uploaded this created player and I added this custom portrait of Ronnie 2K. Created the mock-up here. You go to import portrait, select the photo you uploaded on NBA2K.com, and then it'll just pop up here. Add created player archetype presets for each position. This could help people who want to create a fictional player quick without having to adjust ratings and tendencies themselves. Ratings and tendencies will generate based off the archetype selected. So as an example, say if I want to create a point guard slashing playmaker, right? And I don't want to go through the trouble of creating attributes and tendencies for that type of player. I will go to presets, and then from presets, it'll bring me to here. I'll choose the position, and then I'll choose the archetype I want, and then the archetype will automatically generate ratings and tendencies to match that player in that position. Give us the body type options for my career. I don't know why we still don't have this option. Everything is locked away in my career for some reason, but give us options to change the body types, change the wingspan value to show the exact measurements instead of the 0 to 100 slider. Fix the shoulder width slider. It hasn't worked for the past few games. This is something that does not work. Look, I have it on 100. You can't even notice that the width changed or anything because it doesn't work. They removed the body length because that didn't work, but they kept the shoulder length. That still doesn't work either. Fix the skin blemishes and add an aging option. The blemishes do not work in 2K. Only like 2 options work. Aging option would be dope to have to add to older players if we're creating a classic roster. Creative players should have access to all the animations locked in my career, such as in-game celebrations and dunk. Let us finally give our personality to creative players. Yes. Once again, more stuff locked in my player. I understand that they're making money off my player, but you got to give us some love sometime in MyNBA. All these celebrations should be in the creative player suite. Let us choose takeovers for our creative players. This is something also that we need right now. When you create a player, they just randomly selected a takeover. We should have the option to choose 2 takeovers for our creative players. Overhaul the player DNA interface, have it look like team design section, so we're able to preview faces, sort by most downloaded, and bookmark our favorite creators. I created this mock-up, I believe last year or the year before, and I'm going to add it to this wish list also. Right now, the player DNA section is just a list of names. You can't preview what you're downloading. It's just a bunch of spam players with no detail behind it. Let us actually see what we're downloading before we download it. Add a jump to freestyle button inside creative player that launches us into the 2KU freestyle mode to get a quick in-game look of the player we're creating. So this is self-explanatory. I had created a mock-up. Click the freestyle button. When you're creating a player, it'll save the player and it'll jump you right into freestyle mode. Add the option to turn off creative player nicknames. Yes, it could get annoying hearing this generic nicknames a million times per game. Just let us turn it off. If you're not going to add new nicknames, just at least turn it off, because me personally, I hate hearing the word G, baller 80 million times in a game. Let us rotate the player when selecting the jump shot. A bunch of the lower base and upper releases cause weird angles in the creative player suite. So let us have the option to rotate the player to give us a clear straight on look of the jump shot we're choosing. So I just created a mock-up right here on the bottom. L2 and R2 will allow us to rotate the player so we get a straight on look of the jump shot we're trying to create for the player. Let us upload images for tattoos. We finally got tattoos on creative player, so let's take that to the next level and have us upload images now. Let us select the menu screen pose for our creative players that will be showcased when viewing them in the roster overview and team selection screen. Now, I got this idea from WWE 2K. They have this option where you get to select different menu poses. So for instance, for us, we get to choose the menu pose and we get to see those menu poses when we're selecting the jerseys. Now that's the end of my list. This was a long one. If you mess with this video, leave a like. If you have any ideas yourself, just leave a comment below what you want to see in the MyNBA mode. Also, share this video, tag your favorite creators in the MyNBA community, share this video with them, share this video with the devs on Twitter. I'll let you guys later. Peace.
Yeah. This vision talk, this is not a cult, this type of